I'm going to be rating all 12 Ultras in Dragon Ball Legends, 12 being the worst, first being the best. Let's do this. Coming in at number 12, we have the second Ultra, almost said first, Ultra Vegeta. This guy, terrible. Don't know why anyone uses him in this modern meta. Honestly, there's no reason to elaborate. He's bad, he's old, let's move on. Coming in at number 11, we have Ultra Omega Shenron. I also don't think this guy needs an explanation. Him and Vegeta are just so bad. Even on release, this guy was never used. I mean, he scales with damage taken. Like every arts card that you hit him with, he will get a little bit of damage inflicted, I think, and arts custom, whatever. I don't even know his kit. That's how little I've ever used him. He's not that good. His green card is like mid at best. He's just terrible. Coming in at number 10, we have the first ever Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. I don't really feel like this guy is that usable, but this is where we start to get into the decent Ultras. Like, I feel like every Ultra past this guy is at least decent and somewhat viable in PvP, even higher in PvP. I do feel like you can run Ultras. I mean, they make it absolutely bodied, but like, that doesn't mean they're not runnable, right? Coming in at number 9, we have Ultra Kaioken Goku. This guy came out right after my birthday, by the way. I was very happy, but this guy, unfortunately, was never really that strong after his release. On his release, this guy was the only unit you ever saw for like, what, like a couple weeks? I think it was like the first month he came out. This guy's combo would never end. He was like, I think he was the first ever character that could combo for just infinity, it felt like. I mean, maybe he wasn't the first one, but it really felt like this guy would combo you the entire match. What were you supposed to do? He just comboed you. He never stopped. And then Beast Gohan came out like, what, later that year? I actually don't remember. But this guy, his gauge is decent. His green card's decent. I actually don't think his kit's terrible. His damage is just measly, but it makes sense because this was kind of the first character we saw that had this infinite combo meta as well as a lot of cover knowledge. So it was only fair that they didn't make him crazy strong. Next up, we have Ultra Super Gogeta, and I do want to say something before I go into my next unit. Ultra Gogeta is not that bad. Ultra Super Gogeta, he's not even that bad. Like, yes, his damage sucks. His damage is obviously not what it used to be, but I feel like his kit still makes up for it. Like, he has cover null on green card, he deletes your opponent's buff and cancels your own buffs. His blue card deletes your opponent's cards, and you get a blue card every time you use 5 strike cards. I think it's technically 4 if you use like a blue. This guy is insane. I mean, remember when he first came out? This guy dominated the dude. I remember when I pulled this, man. This was all that was seen in PvP. This was all you, like, legitimately, it was Ultra Super Gogeta, Ultra Super Gogeta, Ultra Super Gogeta. This dude did it all. And he also was the first ever unit to have 2 ultimates, and his ultimate still hits decently hard. This unit is, like, honestly not terrible. Next up, we have Broly, and what I was gonna say last time and completely forgot to say is that I feel like him and Ultra Super Gogeta are interchangeable, because I feel like Gogeta does a lot more damage than this guy, obviously, but what this guy has is a defensive gauge. I think, was he the first unit to have a defensive gauge? I don't know if Sword of Hope came out at this time, I honestly forget, but this guy, regardless, his gauge is strong, and his cover change actually applies on everything. Literally everything except for rushes. If there's no cover null, he can cover change against anything in the entire game. I'm not even kidding. You can ult him. If you have no cover null, he can cover change against it. Cover change. I think I said cover change. He can cover change against it. This guy, I feel like, is actually still underrated. I mean, obviously his tanking sucks for him being a defensive unit, but I still feel like this is the, I think, one of 2 units to do this in the game. The other one would be the Bojack. I think the transforming one. I don't know if it's transforming, but this guy, I feel like, is actually kind of underrated. Next, we have Ultra Super Vegito, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this guy isn't even that bad. I'm only putting him this low. I was gonna put him over Kid Buu and Hit, actually, but I'm only putting him this low because I'm judging these Ultras off of just their kits. So most of the time, units that have aged are gonna be lower on this list. I'm judging them off of their kits, not their teams. So let's just assume everyone's in the leader slot. You put this guy in the leader slot. I feel like his ultimate still hits very hard, but I feel like overall, obviously, he's fallen off. It's been almost a year and a half since this guy released, and he's honestly aged very well. Like, anyone from this point onwards is like it's a viable option in PvP. I'm not even kidding. I feel like if you ran this guy, granted Ultra Vegito Blue is running around, but I feel like he could still hold his own in this meta. And that being said, I feel like everyone past this list, except for like maybe the top 4 or 3, are kind of close in this gap. Because next we will have Ultra Kid Buu, who, yes, his green card is crazy strong. I don't feel like this guy is that good otherwise. His sustain's good. His blue card deletes some cards similar to Ultra Gogeta. I just feel like this unit, like, by himself, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain this. I want to put Ultra Super Vegito over him, but obviously this guy does kind of, he's Ultra Super Vegito, but, like, better, I guess. But I feel like that's it. Like, they're both yellow. Both units are kind of just, like, I feel like both are just made to be tanky. if that makes sense. Like, his damage is not the best. I feel like the only reason why he was ever decent was featured boost. Once featured boost went away, I feel like this guy kind of fell off with it. At number 4, just barely missing the top 3, we have Ultra Hits. Ultra Hits is actually still a very good character. I don't know what happened to him. He just kind of fell off. Like, I've said this multiple times in other videos. He disappeared. His time skip is like basically a free kill for almost any unit. There are some cases where I can see his time skip not killing a unit, and I've seen it happen before. But I still feel like his time skip is very strong, and it alone makes his character very, very strong. Good, great, whatever. I'm just surprised he doesn't exist anymore. If I had Ultra Hit, I would honestly be using him. He gets crits off of just using cards and taking hits. And if you crit, as you guys know, crits are kind of everything. They pretty much ignore typing. So like if I'm a red unit and I'm attacking a blue unit, the crit will basically make my damage as if I was attacking a type neutrality unit. Like, I feel like this guy's hyper underrated. I don't know what happened to him. But use him. I love him. I wish I had him. Coming in at number 3, we have Ultra Rose, and I can see an argument for him being above the number 2, okay? I can totally understand him being above number 2. I just want you guys to know, I just don't feel like he's that good by himself. I would much rather take the number 2 and number 1 over this guy. But I'm not saying this guy's bad. This guy's still very good. I mean, he's meta relevant. He probably will be for some time. His blue card's strong. His green card's strong. He deletes 2 of your cards on green card press. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really know what to say. This dude's just a menace. He paralyzes you on his blue. He goes type neutral on his main. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that he has 3 ultimates in a match. That is, if you can somehow pull that off. This guy is crazy. Ultra Rose, and man, I also wish I had this guy. He also came out right after my birthday. So I'm sad that I didn't get him. I know, it was kind of like a shaft on my birthday. It really was just it was a 2-in-1 L, right? You get an L on your birthday and you get an L because you got shafted. But, okay, that's completely irrelevant. This guy's very strong. I think he deserves the number 3 spot. If this was on a top 10 list, he would probably be top 5 or 6, I think. But now we got to move on to the top 2 and 1. At number 2, we've got Ultra Gogeta Blue. Almost said Super Gogeta for some reason. This guy, the reason why I would take him over Rose in, like, let's say, like a 1v1 is because his unique gauge gives him a lot of... It literally cancels out half of the cards your opponents can use. And if they're... Well, technically it's like a third. But if your opponent has a ranged blue card, then it really knocks it down to half because they can't use blue cards against you if your gauge is up. This dude's main ability deletes your opponent's cards, cancels attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for yourself, heals you for a decent bit. I mean, his ultimate, by the way, hits very hard. This guy's pretty strong. I'm surprised that he has aged as well as he has because I don't know if it's just me, but his defenses are not the brightest, which of course makes sense considering the fact that his gauge literally can cancel out your entire combo. But it just shocks me that this dude has aged as well as he has. And the fact that his green card, at 60 counts into the match, he goes God mode. Double card draw, basically infinite cover change, key recovery, and his green card restores his vanish, makes him type neutral, gives him a blue, and nullifies cover change. I feel like this guy does it all. Well, kind of. And at number 1, bet you didn't see this one coming, we have Ultra Vegito Blue. I don't really know what to say for this man. I mean, he literally does everything. He heals your entire team. His green card counters, and you can chain it into a blue or a green. It also makes him type neutral. His main ability gives him his ult, heals him, pretty standard, of course. He also has he basically has endurance in his passive, although if you get rushed or ulted, it won't proc. When he goes below 50% HP, he heals for a lot, and it's actually insane. He also goes type neutral when he does. He gets cover null every time his gauge procs, which is every 5 cards, unless, again, you use a blue. Or green, I guess. I never really mentioned that. He also heals himself. He gets his vanish back whenever he kills an opponent. Dude, what were they thinking releasing this man? Oh, well, I mean, I know. It's, you know, the headlining unit. Well, not the headlining, but the main character of the 5th anniversary. The most hype release that we have seen. Even better than Go Frieza. Now, is he actually better than Go Frieza? I don't know. That's up for debate. But this guy's so strong. I mean, he truly is. I feel like he's going to age a lot longer than people anticipate. I think the only reason why that he is currently seen as falling off is because of Go Frieza's existence. You take them out of the picture, this guy's number 1 unit in the game on every leaderboard, which, you know, of course. I know there's a lot of blue units too, but again, this guy I feel like he just can sustain fighting against a blue unit. He is so strong. Anyways, goodbye.
All right! You're finished! Vegito! Go to hell! Yeah!